that does the work. I on my own can do nothing. It's talking about the brain. So when the brain finally finds itself on the other side and looks back at all this pain and struggle, whatever it is, looks back at it and says, there's no way on earth, there's no way in the realm of cause and effect that I could have came across this on my own. What brought me here? That's awakening. We call that also the realization that there's something beyond the thought. Because to get yourself across the ditch through cause and effect, you need to think. You need to use thought. Thoughts could not have taken you across the ditch. So now you know that you are beyond the thought. That's to put it, in words to explain it.
So it doesn't help to sit at the side of the ditch and pray to get across. Prayer, people pray, and prayers seem to be answered sometimes, and sometimes they don't get answered. It is not the prayer, it is not the words or the thought behind the prayer that actually changes that situation. It's all consciousness. But because consciousness happens so quickly, sometimes people, when they go through deep need for something to get them out of a situation or trouble, they pray and pray really hard and deep. But they're only paying attention to the thought, which is a prayer. But with that prayer, there's a state. There is a state of awareness, deep awareness of what's going on in their life. And deep intention for that need. That's when change really happens. You can pray all you want, or you might not even need to pray at all. If there's that awareness, the deep awareness of your situation, that just lasts more than just a split of a second, once in every few hours, things change. That's why I said, for us here, when we sit here together for an hour or two, 1 second of pure non-judgmental observation can transform your state of mind a lot more than learning this stuff for hours and days and months. Really, that's all what it is.
But isn't prayer non-acceptance of what is? I mean, that's what prayer is.
Right, but behind that prayer, there's some certain people, I know that, when people pray and miracles happen, for instance, it's not fake.
A good example is
It's
that
not fake.
girl from Rwanda that was in the bathroom.
Right.
And then she was just in that state, and then
Right.
a miracle happened.
Right, so she's in a state beyond prayer.
Yeah.
But the brain is not recognizing that.
She's thinking it's
It's
prayer.
only recognizing the prayer.
Yeah.
So then the brain says, oh, so it was prayer that changed, but it's not the prayer.
It's like that.
Prayer are words and thoughts.
Like that lady, Queen Marjana, that had life after death experience.
Yeah.
She said, for 4 years I did, even before 4 years, I did all the right things to live, vegetarian and all this, and she still got this cancer. And then when she got cancer, she was 4 years. And the 4th year, she had cancer the size of lemons that ran all the way down her spines, and open lesions on her neck. It was just like she went from 145 pounds to something like 85 pounds, and she died. And no time for thoughts. And in that, she just felt this unconditional love. And I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 hours later. And she heard every conversations, and even the conversations that took place outside of the hospital, the room of a doctor talking to the brother outside in the hall, and she was able to recount it. And the thing is, when she came back, I knew I was healed, but the doctors didn't believe it. It's like something crossed over, and it didn't have nothing to do with thoughts. And she was the observer. She really was the observer. She could somehow, not a physical spirit hanging above, but it was like just a sense of knowing,
Yes.
And then she came back, and even though they wouldn't release her for 5 weeks, you know, and they continue to do all the and it just, but every time they test her, oh, there's no cancer, really. She just knew, you know, that she was on the other side. Okay. And then it changed her life. You know, to move that. But it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, she
It's
wasn't
a
thoughts or anything. It says it's nothing. And people ask, well, would you change? She goes, no, it's like, when I feel like it, I have a glass of wine and I go out and you know, they said, don't exert yourself, and she went out to a party, you know, because she was here.
Right, she knows it.
Yeah, she knew. But it wasn't anything of her own that healed.
Doing, no.
Nothing.
The brain doesn't have the capacity to do something like that. Doesn't have the know-how, nor the chemical or electrical abilities. That's what the brain is all about. It doesn't have it.
And it wasn't all the trying either.
Right, because trying is thought. Trying is thought. You can only try through thought. Action is thought. There is no action without thought. Action is thought. Everything is thought. So we're living in a world of thought, and we get lost in this world of thought. And we think that this is all that there is. And to Eric, aloha. So to detach, although I'm suggesting this, but if you're not going to do it or experience it because I said it or you're thinking it, and you're saying, okay, well, what is the coincidence? I wasn't able to do that before, but now that I heard it, I'm able to do it, so therefore I'm able to do it because I heard it. No, that's not true. You heard it because you're already at a state where you're able to do it. It is part of the projection of your reality. Is don't detach from people. Don't detach from fear. Don't detach from situations. Because if you're trying to detach from those things, it's your brain that's trying to detach. Your brain is made to attach. It will be a great struggle for you. When I say disentangle yourself, I'm talking about the consciousness, you're the consciousness. By disentangling yourself, meaning recognize that you are not off the world of thought. By recognizing the world of thought. Just like a dream. Just like a dream. To know that it is only a dream, to know that it is only a dream. It's as simple as that. To know that it's just a thought is to know that it's just a thought. There's nothing more to it. It's very simple. Whenever you fear, whenever you get angry, whenever you feel pain, physical or psychological, whenever you're happy, whenever you're celebrating, whenever you're making money, whatever it is that you're doing, recognize it as just a thought. Because it is scientifically proven that it's just a thought. And this mere recognition is that you the consciousness, disentanglement from the world of thought, which is the world of form. Let the magic begin. Let the magic begin. And that's how you experience magic, is when you experience detachment or disentanglement, which is just the mere observation of your thought. Because this has been very confusing to me for a long time and confusing to everyone I talk about. So you go home and I want to observe this situation without responding to it. I'm going to accept this situation. Or there's a person that is in my life that is a nuisance. I'm going to go home and I'm going to accept this person. I'm going to go home and I'm going to accept this person. You're talking as if you are the brain. But you're not the brain. So the brain is thinking that I am the I, and I heard it, I understand it, I can process that. I'm going to go home and detach from that person. Detach from that situation. That's not what we're talking about. Because that can happen very temporarily, very superficially. And then you end up having a worse person coming into your life. That's going to annoy the heck out of you 10 times more, and then you're going to just lose it. Right? Or a situation, or something like that. Let your brain, let those two, the player and the coach, do their own thing that they are designed to do. God created an unconscious part of your brain and a subconscious part of your brain for a good reason. Let it be. Just create the third one. Just create the third part of the mind. It's already there. Create meaning, just awaken it. And I'm telling you this as if I'm telling the brain to do it. The brain cannot do it. The brain cannot jump over that ditch. But if you go home and you experience, the recognition of your thoughts as thoughts, this is just an indicator that you're in the process of awakening. And this process is happening beyond the drastic event, like I told you last a couple of weeks ago. Now the method of change is changing, where you don't have to go through extreme pain or suffering in order to awaken, like I did, for instance, or many other people did that write books here and there. They go through this intense suffering, and then they get awakened. That method of cause and effect is changing. Although that even wasn't a cause and effect. It's just that it is all simultaneously. It's all happening simultaneously. The chaos that happened in my life 2 years ago and the awakening were one and the same. It's not that the chaos created the awakening or drove the awakening. No, it's all happening at the same time. And that's what's happening with the world. So when this world now, when you see more chaotic events happening in the world, you see more suffering and more chaos erupting, be assured that this is order emerging. So if you have a cocoon or an egg, and there is a new life that's going to emerge out of the egg, to the egg shell, it looks like it's a chaos. It's breaking apart, and it's shaking, and it's going to explode. But it is happening at the same time that a new life is emerging. Same thing with your life, same thing with the globe, with the collective. So when you see things cracking and going bang, a lot of noise and shaking and all that stuff, just know that this is happening at the same time when the new order is emerging. And this is the time. This is the time. Any ideas, comments about that? What's your observation of what's happening? I know this happened before, but now there's multiple things that are happening at the same time, and you will see, more happening at the same time, and then we're going to start worrying. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? Is this, are we on the verge of the Third World War, or, what should I do? Should I take all my money back out of the bank and collect food and drinks in my garage and things like that? If you feel like doing that, do it.
I have a question, and I don't think it's analyzing or pursuing, but I was of the mind that the great masters like Mozart, who created this beautiful music that so many people in the world find just genius, and then you've got your Da Vinci's and people that made a great impact on civilization. Would you agree that those particular individuals are evolved, are awakened, are conscious, or are they just...
I honestly have no clue. I would not be able to judge even if I wanted to, because I don't know exactly what, even if I know the circumstance, I wouldn't be able to know what's the drive, what's the inner drive, or where, Sandy and I spoke on the phone this morning, and she was saying about Gandhi, for instance, how he changed, humanity to a certain extent.
Who's this?
Gandhi, or Martin Luther King, or those icons that came over time. My response was that all that came before now, what seemed to be bad and what seemed to be good, and what changed little and what changed a lot. Nevertheless, have kept the word in the same conventional reality. We are still in the world of cause and effect. There were great icons, there were great avatars that brought a lot of good change, created a lot of great comfort zones for a lot of people. But the new reality is beyond all of that. I promise you this. It's beyond anything that humanity has seen. Beyond the Jesus and the Moses and the Buddha and the Martin Luther King and the Gandhi and all of those put together. There is something that's going to take this reality and take it to the next. We are exiting a realm that has started since the beginning of time, and we're reaching a threshold that's taking us into a different reality. Different reality.
That's a wrap.
We are only here to experience it. We're only here to experience it. But again, collective awakening, or what we call critical mass, isn't going to happen all of a sudden and you're going to wake up one morning and have a million Jesuses going around the streets making miracles. But nevertheless, there will be a global awakening. Many individuals, such as yourself, will be awakened. So if you're not going to go through an individual suffering, you might go through a collective suffering. But it's not going to be an individual thing. So, but it will be a circumstance that will affect the masses. Shortage of something. Weather patterns. Whatever it is, man-made or nature-made, whatever it is. But it might be a collective, drastic event that will awaken, that is at the same time that you are awakened. Or it could be an individual thing, or it might be neither. I mean, there's an entire spectrum of randomness to this awakening. The end result is always one and the same. But it happens, some people break their arms, some people go to fear, some people experience near-death experiences, whatever it is.
So that's why you use that word avatar. Because the avatar was a human that actually transformed into a totally new creature.
Right, because your body just becomes an avatar. You are the consciousness. An avatar is a representation of something. So your body will become, whether you want to call it a disciple or an avatar, your brain, the body in your brain, is a representation of the consciousness. It's an ambassador of the consciousness to Earth, so to speak. That's what an avatar is.